Welcome to This Explainer. Tonight, we are acting as literary detectives, stepping into the shadows to unpack the narrative mechanics of a terrifying Bengali thriller, a story known as The Last Passenger of Route 37B. What is so absolutely fascinating about this piece of fiction is how it takes the most mundane everyday details of city life and slowly twists them into a state of overwhelming psychological dread. It is a true masterclass in how fear is constructed, piece by piece.
Our explainer kicks off with this chilling cold open warning. Just imagine for a second, you're stranded late at night, and a local tea seller looks you dead in the eye and whispers, "If the bus comes, do not board it." It instantly establishes this central inciting incident. It hooks us into the mystery without a single moment of hesitation. No long prologue, just straight into the tension.
Section 1. The Late Night Warning. Let's look at how the author perfectly grounds supernatural terror in incredibly relatable, mundane anxieties before introducing anything paranormal. The genius of this setup is sensory deprivation, combined with modern urgency. The protagonist is stranded at 11:45 p.m. Light rain is falling, his phone is at exactly 13% battery with no network. We've all felt that specific creeping panic, right? And on top of that, he has a crucial office meeting looming the next morning. By layering these very real, very human stressors, the author forces our protagonist into a highly vulnerable position. His desperate need to just get home completely overrides any logical decision-making. And this brilliantly illustrates the escalation of that isolation. We move from waiting entirely alone to the final safety net, that little tea stall shutting down. It all culminates at exactly 12:13 a.m. Out of the rainy darkness, a mysterious bus labeled 37B slowly emerges. And despite the dire warning from the stall owner, the protagonist is practically pushed onto it by his own desperation. Section 2. Boarding Route 37B, the surreal descent. Let's analyze how the narrative shifts from mundane anxiety into a suffocating nightmare the very moment he steps onto that vehicle. Immediately, the author strips away the normal, chaotic hustle of public transport to create a deeply claustrophobic atmosphere. There are only 3 other passengers, an old man in the front, a staring woman in the middle, and a hunched youth in the back. They are eerie, unblinking, and when they do speak, it's in cryptic riddles about never actually reaching their destinations. It is an instant signal to the reader. The physical rules of the real world no longer apply here. From here, we're taken through a rapid sequence of terrifying, impossible events. The bus stops at a mysterious place called Shaltala, but no one boards. They drive right past a phantom woman in a wet white sari, completely ignoring her. The lights die out over a pitch-black river bridge, and heavy footsteps start echoing on the roof. But the absolute climax of this sequence hits when the protagonist realizes the driver is slumped forward, completely motionless, yet the bus just keeps moving. Section 3. Passengers of Purgatory. Now, what is really interesting here is how the story elevates itself, transitioning from a simple ghost tale into a much deeper mythological concept. Through a conversation with the cryptic conductor, it's revealed that Route 37B isn't just a haunted bus. It is a literal transit vehicle for purgatory, a limbo for those stuck between the living and the dead, endlessly looking for something they've lost, whether that's a home, forgiveness, or people from their past. These passengers aren't just monsters. They are trapped souls. To prove he's trapped in a supernatural illusion, the author uses this brilliant, uncanny sensory detail. The bus drops him out what appears to be his own house, but when the protagonist looks closer, the house is identical, except his familiar large mango tree is completely missing from the front yard. It is a fantastic psychological trick, taking something safe and familiar and removing just one core element to signal that something is deeply, deeply wrong. Section 4. The Weight of Grief. The crucial point here is that this narrative isn't relying on cheap jump scares. The entire journey is a profound metaphor for unresolved trauma and the heavy burden of survivor's guilt. The horror suddenly becomes intimately personal. The protagonist finds a ticket in his pocket, but it doesn't have a destination printed on it. It just has this specific date, August 17th, 2009, the exact day his mother passed away. The bus isn't taking him to a physical location. It is taking him to a moment in time. This leads us right to the emotional climax. The bus arrives outside the old hospital where his mother died. All the other passengers vanish, and sitting in the back seat is a sinister entity wearing his mother's face. She smiles, asking why he took so long to join her, trying to lure him into staying forever. It's a terrifying embodiment of how grief can trap us if we refuse to let go. Section 5. An unfinished journey. Rejecting the illusion, he is thrust back into reality, cementing the true horror of this urban legend. The doors open, and he finds himself right back at the exact same still-open tea stall. He's completely disoriented. He experienced what felt like a grueling lifetime of psychological torment on that bus, but when he checks the time, it's only 12:15 a.m. Just 2 physical minutes had passed since he boarded at 12:13. Then, the tea stall owner delivers the final, crushing historical twist. Route 37B doesn't exist anymore. Exactly 12 years ago, on August 17, 2009, that exact bus crashed off a dark river bridge, killing exactly 17 people. And if the protagonist thought he could just brush this off as a hallucination, the story leaves him with physical proof. The next morning, that blank ticket transforms into a haunted photograph. It shows him standing next to his deceased mother in front of bus 37B, a photo that was literally impossible to take because it depicts them together after her death. It forces him to realize that his own lingering subconscious grief actually summoned this ghost transit to come and take him away. We end this explainer with a chilling realization. Months later, he sees the bus again, waiting in the dark. It leaves us with a haunting thought. Some vehicles on the road don't have destinations, only dates. And they will wait patiently in the dark, with empty seats for years, until you finally give in to your past and take your seat.